You've been playing Minecraft for quite some time now. You finally decided it's time to step it up and buy a quality gaming mouse, but you don't quite know which one to get. Well, in this video, I'll be comparing two very popular gaming mice, the Glorious Model O and the Razer Viper Mini. I'll take a lot of factors into account such as quality, price, and effectiveness. If you enjoy, then please drop a like and sub, I'd really appreciate it. Bye. Alright guys, so basically what I'll be doing is I'll be playing one game with the Model O and one game with the Razer Viper Mini. We're here on Speedway and I'm currently using the Model O, and let me tell you, I've owned this mouse for 2 years. I absolutely love the Model O. But I'll give you my unbiased opinion and I'll be going over the pros and cons throughout the game. So one issue with the Model O is that if you're planning on butterfly clicking with it, it actually has a pretty low click lifespan, about 20 million, and that may sound like a lot, but when you're clicking 20 CPS constantly, and you play a lot of Minecraft, those clicks will go by very quickly, and eventually the mouse will break and stop registering clicks. The Razer Viper Mini, on the other hand, has a click lifespan of 50 million, and those clicks will go by much more slowly because it doesn't double click and you can't click 20 CPS. And if you're worried about having lower CPS giving you a disadvantage, I can promise you that it doesn't. In fact, the best Bedwars player ever, arguably, Hishido, only clicked 10 CPS, so you can kind of see where I'm going with this, even as an Avid Model O user. As a pod PvP or sumo player, you absolutely will be at a disadvantage by not double clicking, but from a Bedwars standpoint, you won't be, and that's what I meant. There's a lot of other factors that you can use to your advantage that counteract having a low CPS, and that's why there's so many good players that only click like 8 to 10. That's what I meant to say. I will say that the Model O is better for people with medium to large hands. This guy's online nuts, hold on. Okay, we got him, nice. Now, one thing about the Model O's build quality is that it actually tends to squeak a lot of the time, and that can get very annoying. Not all of them squeak. I've owned two Model O's, one squeaked, one didn't, and I've talked to a lot of people who've had the same issue. But there is a chance, and that's something to take into account when buying the mouse, because the build quality just isn't as good as the Viper Mini. It feels like it doesn't give you that like Chinesium toy vibe. It feels like it's solid. Like when you squeeze it, there's no squeaking, there's no flexing. It just feels like a solid mouse. But I will say that the Model O is better if you have medium to large hands, and the Viper Mini is better if you have small hands. Do not buy the Viper Mini if you have large hands, because the Viper Mini is a very, very small mouse. One of the smallest mice I've ever used. So if you're like a 13-year-old, 12-year-old, or whatever, and you have like smaller size hands, then I highly recommend you buy the Viper Mini. But if you're older and have like long fingers, do not buy it. If you guys were wondering this, the Viper Mini does not double click under any circumstances. This means you can't butterfly with 20 CPS, you can't drag click. If you're trying to god bridge, do not buy this mouse. It physically does not double click because it has a special type of switch called an optical switch that actually blocks all double clicks. It's pretty interesting actually, because a lot of other games, it's really not good for a mouse to be double clicking. It could be really frustrating, and that's the intention they had when they made this mouse, like to appeal to people who play other games, not Minecraft. If you have larger hands, Model O. If you have smaller hands, then you actually have a choice between the Glorious Model O Minus and the Viper Mini, which are roughly the same size. They're both very light mice themselves, but if you're looking at the Viper Mini versus the actual Model O, then they're going to be the same weight. The Model O Minus and the Viper Mini, on the other hand, the Model O Minus is the lighter mouse. If you don't know what the prices of these mice are, the Viper Mini is $40 and the Model O is $50. There is an option where you can buy a glossy Model O for $60, but I recommend you don't buy that because it's kind of a waste of money and you can't drag click. So if you're into drag clicking, then yeah, I highly suggest you buy matte. It saves you $10 as well. Alright, break your bed, and oh, we win! Alright, we're here in game number 2, and we're on Orchestra this time, and I'm using the Razer Viper Mini. Now, if I kind of suck right now, it's because I'm using the Razer Viper Mini, and I haven't used this mouse in a good few months. But I can promise you this mouse is of equal quality to the Model O. Now, there are a few disadvantages I'd like to talk about throughout the game, so make sure to keep watching. Here's one right here. You can't double click while speed bridging, which means you really can't speed bridge nearly as fast. You can speed bridge like fairly fast without double clicking, but it's a lot more difficult, and double clicking will always make your speed bridge faster and more reliable. Man, wood is such a bad defense. Stop doing wood, guys. I've been preaching this for like months. Now, if you notice, I'm normal clicking right now, and that's because this mouse is very, very bad for double or butterfly clicking. And that's mainly because you really can't double click with the mouse. If you butterfly, you're going to be getting like 8 to 9 CPS, you know, like, or maybe 10 to 11 if you're a good butterflyer. And I really just prefer to normal click if I'm going to be getting the same CPS either way. And I bought an alarm trap. Oh god. Let's take this gen and chest the stuff, and maybe we can hit this guy off here. I don't know if this happens to you guys, but like drop a comment if it feels like every single time you get hit off, like that's when your bed happens to break, like right then. It is the worst. I guess that's why mining fatigue traps are so good. Oh, I'm trying my best to diagonal bridge. It's so hard. Okay, we did it. If you notice, you really can't drag click with this mouse. I'm getting 6 CPS drag clicking, whereas with a model low, I'd be getting about 25, if that gives you a good idea. So if you are a drag clicker or you god bridge at all, then definitely don't buy this mouse. Okay, looks like yellow decided to go for somebody else, so I should try to secure mid, because I know there's a good bit of sweats in this game. Yeah, see, pink is at middle, trying to get some M's. And as you can see, I'm butterflying, and I'm getting 8 to 9 CPS. And an experienced butterflyer could probably get around 12 at the top. Like, they're going to be consistently getting around 10. And you might as well just be jittering in that case. As I said earlier, the build quality with this mouse is like one of the most solid I've ever seen in a mouse before. There's no squeaking, there's no like flexing, bending. I haven't damaged it, and it just seems like unbreakable. Like, I'm sure it's not unbreakable. Like, if you hit it with a sledgehammer, it'd probably break, but the cord is sturdy. It's just a very well-built mouse, especially compared to the Model Low, which has had issues with like squeaking, and it has a lower click lifespan. The Razer Viper Mini's click lifespan is incredible. It's about 50 million, which is just so much higher than any other mice I've seen. Razer and their optical switch is just, it's amazing, truly. There's some times where I just have to try really hard not to be toxic to someone after beating them, and this is definitely going to be one of those times. He's coming for my base here. I don't know if you understand this, but you're out geared pretty massively right now, buddy. Peace. Goodbye. These are both really quality mice, but ultimately which one you want to buy comes down to how big your hand is and what clicking method you use. If you're a jitter clicker and you have small hands, the Razer Viper Mini is 100% the way to go. But if you have larger hands and you like to butterfly click and you're not the best PvPer and you rely on your CPS to win fights, then the Model O is definitely going to be the choice. A mistake I see a lot of people making when they buy the Model O is that they just randomly drag click it like this everywhere they go. They randomly drag and butterfly it, and I think it's just like an ADHD type of thing. But guys, if you buy the Model O, please don't do that, because what it actually results in is the mouse breaking faster. Because like as I said earlier, it has 20 million click lifespan, and if you're wasting those clicks like randomly dragging the air and like butterflying the air, then your mouse is going to break sooner rather than later. I think I got him. GG's. Alright, that's going to conclude the video for today. If you enjoyed, once again, like, comment, sub, do it all, please. It really supports me. And feel free to share this to someone else if you know they're looking for a mouse to buy, because it might help them out too. Peace out, guys.